Hey everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the next 8 to 10 days in today's video. It looks like it's going to be turning milder after this cold snap that started on Christmas Eve. Things will be turning milder over the New Year period as we go through the first week of January. It looks like it's going to set up quite a strong zonal westerly flow, actually, so it could become quite wet and windy, maybe even stormy at times. Hopefully not the deluge that we had in January of last year. So I'll show you the charts in a moment before I get on with that. Just say about the ads. There's links to articles on most of the pages at gazblovies.com. Have a browse through widgets. Any articles that you're interested in, just click through. And there's yellow weather related ads on most of the pages as well. So let's see what those are about and click through those if there's anything there that you're interested in also. So as I say, we've got a little bit of a cold snap going on just at the moment, and temperatures today are going to be struggling to just up to 2, 3, 4 degrees across most parts of the country. Some places probably not getting much above freezing, where we've got freezing fog patches lingering. It's not a widespread problem today with freezing fog patches, but they'll become more widespread. It's going to be a very cold night tonight, with temperatures down to -3, -4, -5 across many parts of England and Wales, and we'll find dense freezing fog across many parts of England and Wales as well tonight. That could well linger on all day tomorrow. Where that fog lingers tomorrow, temperatures are going to be struggling to get above freezing, may not get above around -1 in any lingering fog. Otherwise, again, up to around 2, 3, 4 degrees in most parts of the country. It will be another pretty cold day. That's really the last of it though, because after that it'll start to turn milder. So on Tuesday night into the start of New Year's Eve, it's beginning to become milder in the north and the west, with temperatures holding up generally above freezing across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Still another frosty night with more dense fog down across England and Wales, and that could linger all day into New Year's Eve, perhaps in the southeast. That could be quite disruptive for the New Year period. But it is gradually going, this cold weather, over New Year period. So by the time we get through to New Year's Day, this is the chart for New Year's Day, with a very deep area of low pressure to the north of Scotland, bringing a wet and windy start to the north and west anyway, to 2015, and that's bringing in milder temperatures as well. So if you have a look at the temperatures, you'll see they are picking up. Generally very mild day by New Year's Day, temperatures into double figures, and that's extending across the country as well with that band of rain. And once that sets up, then that's setting us into a much more unsettled westerly type pattern really for the foreseeable future. So these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next 8 to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF here on the left. The GFS is over on the right. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and orange extrapolates to high pressure. So this takes up to around the 8th of January. You see we've got a very strong zonal westerly flow coming across the Atlantic there, indicated by those tight lines. The blue colour sitting to the north of Scotland, that's low pressure, and the high pressure is sitting generally down to the south and southwest. So that really is a very classic, about as classically zonal as you can get. It's a classic zonal flow. The GFS is very similar again, that strong jet stream coming across the Atlantic, running into the British Isles. We've got high pressure stretched out to the south of the country. We've got deep areas of low pressure up to the north of the country, indicated by those blue colours. So that's a very westerly, it's a very strong zonal westerly flow coming across the Atlantic. It would be unsettled. There'd be the risk of severe gales as pieces of energy come off these areas of low pressure. You would get little storms perhaps running through. Also get some wet conditions at times, particularly in the north and west, but generally overall quite mild. Of course, on the back of the areas of low pressure, as they clear through, you'll get colder sectors coming through, but overall that is not a cold pattern. It's an Atlantic dominated pattern. So have a look at the GFS temperature and precipitation ensemble. Excuse me. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average. You can see that temperatures will be picking up over the next few days. We're starting off quite cold, but by the time you get through to New Year, we're going pretty mild. We saw that on the temperature charts. Then after New Year's Day, as that low pressure clears through, will bring the colder sector back, so it turns a little bit cooler, but not particularly cold. And then really we're into sort of a zonal sine wave type pattern where we're up and down. So overall, the temperatures look as though they're coming out near normal, but when you're in a zonal sine wave in the middle of January, what tends to happen is that you come out milder than average, and the reason that happens is that the temperatures hold up by night. You don't get the frost at night because it's too windy, and often there's bands of rain coming through. So although it looks from that as though the temperatures generally, the temperature average, which is the white line, is generally hovering around the 30-year average, which is the red line, overall this time of year that would come out a little bit milder than average as those warmer sectors and colder sectors push through around those areas of low pressure. We've also got the rainfall spikes coming back, starting off very dry up to New Year's Day, but after that looks like the rain's coming back. Quite an unsettled spell setting up. The temperature anomaly for the coming week, the 29th of December to the 6th of January, still a little bit cooler than average. This is skewered by the cold conditions that we've got at the moment. This will be turning red over the next few updates, over the next few days. Notice most of Europe still really quite cold, but even there the temperatures will be coming up. Temperature anomalies will be coming up over the next few days. We are setting up a mild start to 2015. The precipitation anomaly generally coming out dry on average again. No real rainfall up to New Year's Day. The rain all comes after. That's a little bit skewered by that, but these will be turning warmer and wetter, I would suspect, over the next few days. The generic charts, this is the chart that I just showed you for New Year's Day from the GFS, one of that deep area of low pressure up to the north of Scotland, bringing a band of rain across the country. There'll be strong winds with that as well, so not a great start to the new year in the north and the west, but it will be turning milder across all parts of the country. We go through to the weekend, that low pressure push through, and we built a little bit of a transient ridge in from the Atlantic, so that's a little bit cooler in one of those cooler sectors then over the weekend. But that doesn't last long. The next area of low pressure comes through as we go through to Monday, the 5th of January. That'll bring a band of rain with it, and it turns milder with that. You see the winds are backing down more towards a milder source in the Atlantic. Tuesday the 6th, taking a band of rain across the country, and it's turned a little bit cooler. So you get the idea that we bring the warm sectors through, it turns warm for a time, then we bring the colder sectors in, and it turns chillier for a time, but not particularly cold because the air is off the Atlantic. But once you average it all out, temperatures generally tend to come out a little bit milder than average because you don't get the night frost. And then by the time we get through to day 10, Thursday the 8th of January, this is the horrendous looking chart that the GFS is conjured up at the moment, a very, very deep area of low pressure to the north of Scotland, where you see the purple colours turning up in the Atlantic, in the northern Atlantic, around Iceland and to the north of Scotland. You know that you could be in for battering, so kind of batten down the hatchet, so when you see those purple colours appearing, because that's indicating pressure coming very, very low indeed. This is showing gales coming across the country, generally quite cool. The air coming around those areas of low pressure is originating from Greenland, so generally quite cool, moderated by the Atlantic, of course, but the signals there, it could be turning pretty stormy as we get through towards the end of the first week of January. The EWF very similar. For the weekend, we're building a little bit of a transient ridge there off the Atlantic, so it's a little bit cooler as we go into the weekend. But really, the westerlies are establishing through next week, so as going to Monday, probably bringing another band of rain through from the Atlantic, and it just turns more and more unsettled through next week, really, with this next area of low pressure rolling in on Tuesday the 6th. By the time we get through to Thursday the 8th, very similar to the GFS, maybe not quite as extreme in terms of the low pressure to the North Scotland and around Iceland, but even so, same sort of idea that severe gales could be battering the country and bouts of heavy rain sweeping through as well. But with the air off the Atlantic, albeit originating from Greenland, so relatively cool, with the air off the Atlantic, no sign of it being particularly cold. So after this little cold snap, it looks like that's it for the foreseeable future for cold conditions. We're going back into westerly flow to start the new year, and we could be in for a bit of a battering actually. We may start to see the stormiest part of this winter, or the stormiest part of winter so far, coming up as we go through the opening week or so of January, with very strong westerlies returning. So not great if you're a cold blooded. Make most of the next couple of days when we're going to have these hard frosts, because after that, batten down the hatches. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.